South, excuse me, with South Patrol, and we have our our community police officers there, as well as other officers, and then we get an update what's going on overall in the city as well as in our area as well. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what's going on over here in our area.
Thank you. That's something that paints a more clear picture as well. So thank you for that.
Sure.
Anybody else want to add anything?
Okay, Mario may be able to answer this question. Does Livable Neighborhoods still do like block watch training and neighborhood training, things like that? If you're a neighborhood that isn't established but wants to get established, do they still offer the trainings and things like that?
Yeah, they do. Like I said, any like homeowner association that wants to start up, basically, they go through Livable Neighborhood, and Livable Neighborhood, they have a sort of criteria set up for each members, whatever, group coming in, whatever, so, but also they used to give a training once a month too, which always, I think, was I want to say the last Monday of each month, but they haven't gotten it started at all this year. I don't think, but they have in the past.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for clearing that up, Morgan. And then right now we do have the next topic, which would be set up a meeting with the chief of police to have better communication with the Criminal Safety and Justice Task Force. I know that he is on the Law Enforcement Advisory Board, or he has a representative for them as well. Just making sure that we're keeping that open line of communication. I don't know if you guys want to.
Yeah, I've been in pretty consistent contact with the chief. He has expressed he's extended an olive branch to us, and he wants to establish a pretty close relationship with us. And so we'll be, myself and our co-chair, probably Brian as well, we'll probably have a meeting with him soon in the next 2 to 3 weeks to begin moving in that direction. He's very excited to get some things done. And so we're excited to work with the chief of police as well as the police department. Again, just like the community, the police department is also a major heart valve in public safety, ensure that we're able to do what we were asked to do. So I'm really excited to go to work with our great chief. Any other comments or questions?
I'll just add that for those who are viewing this, part of the goal with strengthening communication or developing consistent communication with the chief is to ensure that we can continue as a task force to raise awareness as it relates to crime and safety issues, but particularly activities that are going on in the community that we can help spread the word about as well. And so I think part of the goal here, this task force is not set up for policy in terms of policy recommendations, but certainly efforts and initiatives and or programs that deliver sort of crime and safety initiatives as well that can help reduce opportunity crimes and things like that too, and just increase safety. So I just want to make that comment in terms of that's kind of the goal that we're, I guess, operating from.
Yeah, totally agree. Any other comments or questions?
All right. Then we have the topic would be partners, funding partners, whether it's organizations, community leaders, definitely reach out to clergy, as well as maybe even reaching out to some of those other neighborhood groups, Mario, that may want to attend some of these meetings, reaching out to Kayla and look for neighborhoods, as well as the MDRs, just trying to work to build relationships with different organizations and partners that we can kind of move these things through.
Coach, Coach, did you want to kind of highlight about that?
About the partners?
Yeah. Is my memory.
No, I think that was a larger conversation that we were having as it related to. I think it really kind of connects going back to the point that we were talking about with livable neighborhoods, just making sure that we're reaching out to various community organizations and neighborhoods so that we're aware of what's happening and then being able to bring that back to this task force as well. So we're always looking for folks who can come and speak to the task force so that we are aware of what's going on and looking at how we help collaborate and promote those particular initiatives. I think that's the bulk of the conversation.
Yeah. Are we aware? Are we allowed, in regards to partnerships, are we allowed to ask some of the public to come in and share with us the concerns they have in regards to public safety in the areas they live in?
Yeah.
Maybe we can set up a time where we can maybe invite some of the heads of the neighborhood groups and a few others who represent groups of people, maybe 20 of them. And then they can come and share with us how we can collaborate with them in regards to public safety.
Are you referring to like listening sessions? Or?
Yes, listening session. I think that would be excellent.
You also have the Law Enforcement Advisory Board that is doing listening sessions in different districts of the commissioners. I think their last one is next week,
Yeah.
right?
August 12th.
August 9th. August.
Second Wednesday of the month.
So it's I think what I like what I'm hearing is, yeah, it's folks, of course, we're not going to hear from everybody at those sessions, but why not from neighborhood groups and a member of the LEAB who's kind of compiling all of that and really kind of talk about what came out of that or what more we can ask from.
So yeah, maybe attending one of the Law Enforcement Advisory Board listening tour session, which will be on the 9th, and I can share that information with everybody. Otherwise, it's on the website for the UG. I think this one's going to be District 6 and 7, which is Markley and Stites. And I'm not sure location quite yet, but okay.
I'm back in Eisenhower, yeah.
What do you know the time there?
The doors open at 5:30, so from 6 to 7.
Have they been willing to take the deal?
Fairly. Yeah.
Yeah, they've had a pretty good group.
Coach, what do you think about that?
I think it's a great idea for Brian to attend those meetings and bring back what's relevant to this task force.
I second that. Brian would be a great person.
So
I was a note taker at 3, was it 2 of the 3 so far? I can't be note taker.
Well,
But I can go and listen as well. Let me check the calendar. I think I can also go, Brian.
Brian,
I have attended a few of them already. I help facilitate the Law Enforcement Advisory Board meetings. And I got some notes from some. A lot of it does have to do with unhoused residents. So people go down there and talk about how, there may be some vagrants that, are in the neighborhoods or in the parks and they're trying to have kids play. A lot of it had to do with animal control. So stray dogs, things like that. And I'm trying to think of some other ones.
That's what it was. It was, I mean, you asked the question to community of how policing could how you could work better with law enforcement in your neighborhood or partner with. But it comes down to as much support as people have for the police. There's also these other issues like animals or unhoused people that the police should do better about. Even though those are big community issues, right? But again, we were just listening. We did not respond. So there was a lot of discussion about, you know, those very much favorable, those that had issues maybe beyond police enforcement, but they wanted police to do more, or others that just lack the trust. There's no doubt that the loop speed comes up in these conversations at each one. So it ranged, which was not surprising, but it definitely ranged how they felt, the support as well as some of the mistrust, as well as some of the things police should be doing about animal control unhoused.
I think gun violence was one too, whether it was just gunshots in the area or actual shootings, things like that. So that's one thing that the public normally brings up in those meetings. Trying to think of anything else besides, of course, whiskey. Pretty much.
I think every single one.
Yeah.
Right.
So systemic trauma in the city or the neighborhoods, trying to, one, give people a safe place to talk about it, acknowledging it, and then moving forward from it. This is still such a subject. It's an ongoing investigation with it still. I think people voice their opinion on it.
It's a blight on our community. I'm 40, and I remember how horrific the relationship was between the Black and brown community and the police department in the 90s. It was not good, and his name would speak volumes in the Black and brown community. He was feared privately, and it is amazing to me that I certainly support our mayor and what they're doing, but I think the frustration is that if allegedly committed that many heinous crimes, it wouldn't take them that long to detain me, put me in the hands of justice. And I think for a lot of us, that's the frustration, is when they do wrong, it's like you have to almost drag in the president of the United States to hold them accountable as if they're above the law. And Wyandotte County has a long history with officers being above the law and specifically targeting the Black and brown communities. If you research it, it's not a lovely picture. So I'm pleased with some of the things that our chief of police is doing. I know sometimes he gets the backlash of things that took place that were not up under his watch. That makes him frustrating. However, for this community, these are still very real traumas, and they're still waiting for a victory. I said this the last time. We're just one incident away from being the next place, St. Louis first. Where we are. When I talk to the Black and brown community, especially the young males, those are not pleasant conversations. So I think this is needed. So I hope that it's not just a listening session. These listening sessions bear fruit.
Yeah, the goal of the law enforcement advisory is to very much listen and then formulate some recommendations with district attorney's office, sheriff's office,
As a
and
sheriff?
police. They've all three had representatives in those sessions. I don't know that they've been there per se, but their representatives have. District attorney's been to one of the three, but they've all had representatives there to listen as well.
Any other comments or questions about that, anybody?
I would say one last comment on that. The Law Enforcement Advisory Board recently did have the Department of Justice come in, kind of lay the foundation for what they're actually going to be established to do. So hopefully, that all comes together pretty soon. So that way it'd be more of a resource for us, and we can help them out as well. So, but moving forward from that, recommendations and how we're going to figure out how they're going to move forward accordingly with a quorum and members of the task force. Definitely having people here to vote either way. Thank you. I was speaking with Irene and trying to figure out exactly how we're going to be moving forward in that. And of course, since we're not necessarily appointed members here on the task force, we're trying to get more people engaged, but at the same time, just trying to move forward with anything positive, any kind of recommendations that we can do. So it does kind of fall down to attendance. We do want to give people the opportunity, especially the public. But for the most part, if there's a good idea or something we can get accomplished moving forward, at any point in time, we're able to kind of pass these along to the mayor and hopefully get these things either on an agenda so that way the commission can view it. So I think that's one of the things that we want to kind of clear up. And so far, that's kind of what we come up with as of right now. How you guys feel about that?
I want to say, and I express this to our co-chair and to Brian, we met this week. My schedule has been extremely hectic, and I have not been able to give the appropriate attention to this task force. But I pledge to do that moving forward, and I hope that others will join in me. This is a very important mandate. I think that it's something that could, when we all come together, we could definitely ignite real change. Our co-chair is just as busy as I am, if not busier. So I know he feels my pain, and I know many of you all as well have very hectic schedules. But progress always requires sacrifice. So I'm going to be the first to commit to doing what I need to do to make sure I make being on this task force a priority, because there are people that are counting on us, and people's safety is at stake. So I hope others will echo my sentiments and do what they can to be a part. Any other comments or questions?
Well, moving forward, I don't know if David, if you want to kind of speak on some initiatives that some other people may be taking, or next topic, can you see that? Or is that something we kind of want to hold off on?
Sorry, I was on mute there. You talking about the next one, the Kansas statewide deal?
Yeah.
For sure. So part of this task force goals is to also one of the things I look at as a member of this task force is to kind of bring forward information about funding opportunities, particularly as it relates to reducing violent crime and creating more public safety initiatives as well. And so I wanted to just make the announcement that I am serving on the Kansas Governor's grants program. There's a state administrating agency, which is called the Federal Bureau of Justice, or BJA. There was a burn grant released to the state of Kansas, and it's actually called the Burn Statewide Crisis Intervention Program, SKIP for short. And these funds are going to be made available. We're hoping there's actually been a SKIP advisory board created, and so I'm on that advisory board. And the plan is to ensure that the best use of the SKIP funds go to optimizing sort of the efficiency and or maximizing impact and helping local communities really achieve measurable goals. And so this advisory committee, again, is a coalition of folks that are really coming from a variety of backgrounds as well. We have folks that are from law enforcement, folks from the judicial courts, behavioral health providers, victim service agencies, and the legal community that are all kind of coming together to help inform the process and to make sure that these funds or distributed, as I said, to maximize impact for local communities as well. And so just to kind of give you some, these are just examples. This is not the end all and be all, but some of the dollars could be allocated to increasing specialty courts in Kansas. For example, like emphasizing creating a domestic violence specialty court, enhancing behavioral health deflection programs such as community treatment, mobile crisis units, regional crisis call centers, things like that, addressing the intersection of domestic violence and gun violence too. So those just give you all some idea of some of the areas or categories that could be funded through this program. So as things continue to get solidified in terms of priorities and all of that, when the RFPs are ready to go out, I'll come back to this task force to make some announcements, and also perhaps invite perhaps the chair of the task force or some member from the Kansas governor's office, or excuse me, representative from the Kansas governor's office to come and speak to it as well. But just wanted to make that announcement, and we'll try our best to. I hope that this task force can help get the word out once those RFPs are processed and published. So I think this would be a great opportunity for this task force to be able. Any questions for me about that?
Are the dollars allocated to community-based or local governments?
I think it'd be a combination of both.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, we want to move forward to some of the calls for action. I think one thing we're still working on is sharing this task force with some colleagues, friends, family. I reached out to a few different people in light of, like I said, what happened in Argentina with my family member, and people do want to get involved. Just today wasn't a great day for them to participate, but hopefully they can join in here in the future. And then asking everybody here if they can reach out to two individuals. I know Kayla and them are going to be kind of chiming in, and if we want to join in on their meetings as well, anybody who's involved with Law Enforcement Advisory Board, so on and so forth, but just building those bridges.
And Brian, I wanted to just say, man, my thoughts are with your family, and praying for your sister's continued recovery. As I mentioned this to Brian at a previous meeting, that Ad Hoc Group Against Crime provides counseling services, particularly trauma-informed care services to individuals impacted by crime and violence. And so even though folks from that particular part of the community didn't come to this meeting, I think it is incumbent upon us to go to them. And so Mario, Mr. Escobar, I know you're on the line here. I'd be happy to come to any any community meeting and talk about the services that Ad Hoc provides, so that folks know that there is free counseling services for individuals that have been impacted by crime and violence. And in fact, I had Ed Burnett, who's also on here. He's a community health and intervention specialist with Ad Hoc Group Against Crime, and so he's one of our outreach folks that would be more than happy to. I'm speaking on his behalf, but I think he'd be more than happy to come out and come to a community meeting too, and to even just kind of even go door to door and just meet with folks to help process what occurred too. And like I said, we have a therapist who can come out and we can do sort of a community sort of processing of that trauma too. But more importantly, Brian, I do want to again extend our services to your sister too. So we'd be happy to provide counseling for her as she goes through this journey.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate hearing that. And Pastor, can I just reiterate that the lack of attendance, and maybe inconsistencies in the past, it is in a number of task force. But mayor is really ready to commit to kind of reaffirm with the idea that he has appointed in some cases most of the chairs that have stayed along with it. Those that do have movement and actions moving forward have been consistently meeting, right? And had something specific and are moving with respond with actually recommending to the mayor certain policy changes. He will actually be committing to the next several months, at least weeks, if not months, to reaffirm and really get the word out about the task force and also commit to recruit. So we appreciate you being with us throughout this journey. And if you know someone that is interested, yes, we because you can actually verbalize. But he is ready to continue that process of definitely building on those task force that need the support and really just determine that any recommendations and any changes that's best for our community, he's ready to move on.
Love our mayor. He's definitely in the trenches with us, so we're excited to get to work. Co-chair, that's excellent what you're doing. That is tremendous. So we certainly commend you as well. Any other comments or questions about our call to action?
Yeah, no, so after that, just looking for local events, anything we can get going, whether it's any neighborhood groups or festivals. I know they have third Thursdays or third Fridays here. And then I don't know about if anybody's able to set up a tent, or Mario, if you know if anything's coming up here in Argentine, I'll reach out to ABC too to find out what we can do. And just building this awareness. I know a lot of times the sheriff department and other law enforcement normally set up tents and kind of try to reach out to the public. So just building that connection.
Well, Saturday, the sheriff, police, and fire, along with the mayor's office, will be, well, I should say, sponsored by the sheriff, police, and fire, but the mayor will be in attendance. They are doing at Parkwood. So for community members to come by, first 200 get free swim, but they also have, I want to say hot dogs, but I know they're having something. Yeah, so, and that's from, I should know this, noon to 4, 11, no, yeah, this Saturday. You also have all of the groups prepared for Silver City Days, Central Avenue, the Bonner Springs parades are all coming up. I mean, I just will tell you, I know that there's some things on the UG website that give the information on some of these upcoming community events.
I was looking for the exact date. I couldn't find it.
I'm sorry, I can give it to you. You mean the shift this weekend?
Yeah, I was looking for it online at the UG's website, but definitely just when we're out in the community, sharing that information too. I'll be doing it as well. And you can ask everybody else. That'd be great.
She just sent it out to me.
And then I'll be sending out notes for today's meeting as well, with a couple links. So you guys can be looking for those, and obviously we can kind of follow up and reach out to me or Irene or Pastor Damon if you have any questions.
Noon to 4, Parkwood Pool. It's Sheriff's Day at the pool, but it's being supported by sheriff and police and fire and Parks and Rec.
Yeah, and also, Brian, I can get with you about, like I said, about events coming up there in Argentine, whatever. So, we'll get together on those.
Okay. Sounds good. Do you have any questions, or now we can move on? I guess that's the last part of this, is see if anybody has any questions or further insight you would like to share before we finish up the agenda. Just check online, see if anybody's commented in the chat. We have nothing in the chat right now, and
Looks like looks like we can conclude the meeting. Look at that, a few minutes early. It's always good.
It is.
I'll share this with you guys as well. That was brought up. One thing that was brought up by the Department of Justice was a National Association for Civilian Oversight of Law Enforcement. They shared this website to help what it says building public trust through law enforcement accountability and transparency. So whenever he came from, I believe, Boston and gave this presentation, one of the websites he recommended was the National Association of Oversight of Law Enforcement. It is www.nacole.org. So if you guys ever want to check that out, I think this would be a great resource for us as well.
Look that up.
That is all I have.
Any other questions or insights before we dismiss? I want to thank everybody for coming out, and hope everybody has a blessed and amazing week. Co-chair, you want to say anything before we go?
No, sir. Thank you all for coming out. I'll be in person at the next one.
We are dismissed now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Just want to